The next speaker, Connor Steinbrook from, look at him taking a picture of him like he's something special, but he is, from Plano West High School. Oh my God, a wolf. Connor Steinbrook, let's give it up for him. Come on, get some energy in the room, baby. Woo! Brother, take it home, baby.
How's everybody doing? Can y'all hear me okay? Good, good. Who here's here to look at EXP's model as far as building a team globally through our system here? Okay. Who here is currently building a team? Have y'all set your goals? What are your goals right now? Because I'm going to teach you how to build a team of over 1,000 agents. That was my goal when I got here. And it's gotten a lot bigger than that. So I want you guys to take whatever goal you have right now, strip it down, ramp it up, and set a bigger one. So we're going to talk about duplication today. Make sure I got this going. So we're going to talk about how to build a business that duplicates without you. That is actually a real business. If you have to be in your business, it's not a business. A real business grows without you inside of it as a bottleneck, if that makes sense a little bit how I said that. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, Gene introduced me. I grew up here. I went to Plano West. That's where our Wolfpack brand came from. So in 2018, I started an organization called the Wolfpack. Currently, right now, we have over 3,300 agents, all 50 states, every Canadian province, and I think we're in about 16 countries right now. Over the past few years, we've been able to do very well as we've grown this. I'm going to teach you the system, exactly how we did this, what we do behind the scenes, the levels to this, and how to understand this business. Last year, I was the #2 growth leader in the world at this company. We grew by about 700 agents, and I'm going to teach you exactly how I did this in a tough market so you guys can replicate our success. So the first thing is, I need you guys to aggressively understand what you're selling. If you're selling yourself, aggressively understand yourself. If you're understanding this business model, or if you're going to sell this business model, you have to understand it. Whatever you sell, guys, you have to know it better than who you're up against selling it. The problem that most people do in their business is they do not get into enough conversations. They're not starting enough conversations, having enough prospects. And the reason why they're not starting more conversations is they don't have a fundamental understanding of what they're doing. If you don't know what you're building, or you don't know how to answer the questions if someone asks you a question, you're going to unconsciously put yourself in a situation where you're not going to start conversations. So the first thing is, the more you know, the more you could grow. Study the model. As you understand what you're selling, any product or service, your confidence grows in the product, your confidence grows in yourself, and what happens naturally around it is you're going to go get yourself into more conversations. But if you don't know what you're talking about, you don't want to get questions asked to you about what you don't know about, so unconsciously you're going to block yourself from setting up those conversations. So the first thing you guys need to do when you get home, aggressively study the business model. Now, what type of business do you guys think you're growing? Do you guys think this is an agent attraction business? Raise your hand. You think it's a recruiting business? Well, good. Some of you guys know what it is then. What is it? It's a what business? Relationship business? Louder. Can't hear you guys.
Personal development.
Personal development? Yeah. This is not just an agent attraction business, guys. This is a training, leadership, motivation, and duplication business. I heard Gene Frederick, I heard Brent Gove, I heard Scott Lewis, I heard all of them use this one word, duplication. And that word changed my life. Because what happened was I was trying to do everything on my own. When you try to do everything on your own, you grow a linear business. When you run together and win together and use other people and everybody works together, working together, you grow exponential. So individually linear, together exponential, okay? So I want you guys to understand the 3 battlefields that we play this specific game in of team building. So the first one's inside of this company. Each and every one of us, if we're not aligned in the same compensation line, are actually competitors with ourselves. So how do we compete the best we can within the walls of the same environment that we operate in? You need to do the best you can, but let's say I'm playing football with Tony right here. Great guy, a lot of respect for Tony. What happens, Tony, if I'm running the ball up the middle? Are you gonna try to hit me as hard as you can? I doubt that, look at those arms right there. But I want him to. I want you to hit me as hard as you can when I come up the middle. I want to hit you as hard as I can, but whoever wins this, I want the hand to reach down to grab the other one and pull it back up. And this is so important to understand, guys, because when I get into step 2 in the second battlefield here, it's going to make a lot of sense. We all need to do the best we can and be the best we can for our family and our business, but we don't need to tear each other down and attack each other and do it in a bad way. Because the second battlefield we play is we're partners. The first one we're competitors, the second one we're partners. We are all competing against the industry. And we've done a pretty damn good job. We're number one in the world at pretty much everything. So put applause there for you guys. Get it up. Just go ahead and get it up. Okay. You need to know who you're up against. There's different types of models out there. And once again, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. There's flat V-shop models. There's cap split models. There's no cap models. There's small local independents. There's copycat models. Each individual model has a different comp plan, different value proposition they give to their agents. And if you don't study that, you're like a football team going to the Super Bowl without studying the other team's offense and defense. You need to know what you're up against, so you need to have a strategy around it. And the only way you can do that is to study it. So the first thing is, how are you going to look at yourself within this company? How are you going to build a value proposition for yourself? And then how do you see us all working together collectively to compete against the marketplace going forward long term? What do you think the third battlefield is? Tom? Inside the walls of our own mind. And this is the most important one. So there's two different levels of this, the mindset that we need to build. First, the knowledge, the wisdom, the intelligence to take forward that allows us to operate and have skill sets, move us forward and have results in the business environment. But also, what do we need to focus on? Especially right now in a recession, when the world's tough and everything's melting down around us. We need the resiliency side, the mental toughness side, so they go hand in hand. Knowledge, wisdom, intelligence, mental resiliency, you conquer both these, you conquer the world. It's important to understand that you have to win all three areas of these battlefields or have a strategy inside these. If you don't, someone's going to be taking advantage of your market share, your opportunity, okay? Now, it is not just where we play it, but how do we actually play it, okay? You must understand that you have to beat all three of these levels I'm going to give you. This is the process you guys need to go through in order to beat this game. So the first one is, let's step back a second. Your freedom path, guys, at the top. Just write this down or screenshot this. It's attraction 2, duplication 2, then your freedom. This is why I teach our agents. So the very first level of this game, you have to learn how to attract agents. It starts with you. It's a 7-level compensation model. Your tier 1 is your personal responsibility. You have to build this tier on your own. No one's going to come build it for you. So tier 1 is your personal responsibility. Tiers 2 through 7 are the responsibilities of your partners, which we're going to talk about here in a second when it comes into duplication. How are you going to attract agents? The two most common strategies to put them into buckets, proactive strategies and reactive strategies. A proactive strategy is a one-to-one time unit relationship, meaning I'm trading my time individually. I pick up a phone to call someone. I'm meeting them at an event. I'm trading my time one-to-one. Yes, this is one of the best ways to build rapport, the best ways to create a high conversion, but it has time leverage issues. When we're building it in a different way reactively, which would be putting something out there as far as a video, something on Instagram, letting people come across it, they're reacting to us. So what I want you guys to think about right now, what are you doing proactively with your one-on-one time? And what are you doing that has leverage to it that you can place on the internet that people can find you? As an ad? Is it marketing? Are you running a podcast? Are you running local events like Jennifer was talking about? How are you guys going to create a reactive strategy long-term, but a current strategy today in the short-term one-to-one conversation type of proactive strategy? Level 2. This would work. Okay, so level 2. Now that we've attracted agents and we have partners on our front line, how do we get to where we grow to 1,000+ agents? We have to have our partners have skill sets as well. So level 1 is you teach yourself the art of agent attraction. Now that you understand that skill set, you have it within you, you pass that to your partners. We're teaching them how to do what we learned to do. And as you start teaching each one of your partners to do exactly what you did, if it worked for you, it can work for them. And if it works for them, you start to duplicate. What do you think the third level is? This is the most important one. Come on. Teach our leaders how to teach their agents how to attract agents. So if you can learn to recruit, and you can teach to recruit, and you can teach people to do what you just taught them to do, you can step out and your business is going to grow without you. This is how you create freedom. This is how you have the time to pull yourself out and go do other things in your business, higher level activities. So I have a mentality, I want to be retired out of the current position I am. It's a replacement cycle. We learn a skill set, teach it to others, they retire us out of that one, we move up, learn the next skill set, and we keep moving up this ladder. And the more partners that we have that can do this process, you'll have more duplication, more businesses building within your business, and you're going to grow an exponentially growing business, okay? Now, let's talk about the success formula. This is kind of how I figured out what I need to focus on personally, what I need to teach my agents to focus on personally for their business, on how to create the highest income for them while they grow this business. The first thing is how many agents you attract personally, but collectively as a group. Let's say you attract 1,000 agents. That's good, right? But what if they all leave? You have 0. So this is not just how many you can attract. That is the attraction side of the business. You need to teach this inside your group. It's how many we attract minus how many we keep, or how many leave, right? This is an attrition-based business. So if we attract 1,000 but we lose 1,000, we have 0. So we need to figure out how to develop leadership skill sets within our group. How do we retain partners? Have you reached out to your team right now? When's the last time you talked to each one of your leaders or your partners or any of your agents? Has everything gone quiet? The more conversations you have, the closer the culture, the closer the relationship that you have with your partners, the more aligned everybody is. So what happens is a lot of time in tough environments, people recluse. They go to drugs, alcohol, they go to anything that can numb the pleasure of the flesh, right? They try to escapism, right? Right now is not the time to hide by yourself, guys. This is a time for everybody to reach down to each other's partners, work together, build each other's morale, build each other's mindset up. This is a tough time. So we need to be in conversation with our partners. What are you doing? Are you doing local events? Are you doing anything like going to Top Goals, charity events, anything like that? Anything you can do that's shared and collective is going to help with this and retain agents. Now the third step is, if we attract them and we keep them, where does our income come from? Selling houses. So now that we have partners here that are staying, how do we help them the best get to the best production coaching? John just got up here and said he's one of the top production coaches in the world. Why not reach out to him, right? We need to find them access to someone that can teach them the skill sets that we might not be able to teach them. How can they use social media? How can they use AI? What can we do to help them sell more houses? So if you can teach them how to attract more, lose fewer, sell more houses, the last step is, how many leaders can you develop that can do the thing that you just did or I just said to do? So if you can develop people inside your business that can teach agents how to attract, teach them how to retain partners, and how to sell houses, you have businesses that will grow inside your business forever. And this is the goal for all of you on a short-term to long-term basis. This is kind of the process we go through. So personal attraction to leadership, to production, to duplication, okay? Now I'm gonna show you guys a framework here. Just make sure where my time is at. This is kind of how we've always done it for a duplication process where you can set it up where this can grow without you. So the first step there is at the top, guys. As you onboard anybody into your company, I highly recommend that you have an expectation call. One of the biggest reasons I see people struggle to have a lot of momentum in the beginning of the business and have a really fast start with a new partner is there's no expectation of what one expects from the other. So if I hop on an agent call, they're gonna join. When we're going through the onboarding process, I go through a very thorough conversation with them saying, what do you expect from me? What is it that you expect me to do for you? And here's what I expect from you. Now, doing this basic expectation understanding with each other sets it up that there's no breakdown of what each other expected from each other later. Because if you don't do this, your partners are gonna accept the world, are gonna expect you to give them the world, to do their deals for them, do everything for them except cash a check. They'll do that for you, right? But the point is, you need to be on the same alignment within the thought process. So as they're coming in, help your partners get plugged in the system, help them get into the calls if you're running mastermind calls, which is the second part. This is when you're gonna teach them the playbook. This is when you're gonna work with your agents to develop the skill sets, to teach them the things that we're talking about at the beginning. So we first onboard an agent, go through an expectation call, get them in the system, get them pumped up, help them set their goals, plug them in the mastermind calls. And what we're gonna teach them to do first is become an inviter, not an agent attractor. In the beginning, I don't care if you're the best Mercedes salesman in the world, if you just shifted over to this company, you're now selling BMWs. There's still some buttons and gadgets that you're gonna have to learn. This takes time to adopt the new skill sets of the new product and service you're selling, if that makes sense a little bit. So they lean on us. So in the beginning, you're gonna help your partners by doing the third-party presentation, delivering the information, whether they're coming to an event like this, you're doing it on a Zoom call, you're doing it one-on-one, you're doing it like Gene does on a napkin at a restaurant. I know Pat Hayes still has his napkins framed in his room. Somebody's gonna do this presentation for you, deliver the information. Now what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be learning from your partners above you how they're doing it, why they're doing it that way, while they're helping you build your business lifetime, okay? So you go from an inviter to a presenter later. So someone in your business needs to be doing the third-party presentation. Now once someone comes to that presentation and they've gone through this, you yourself are going to hop on a call with your partner and their potential partner and help answer questions. So there's two different kind of areas of understanding of information delivery. The third-party presentation, which just is a presentation over a slide deck, and then small form communication, which happens on a three-way call, which is really, overcoming objections and really part of agent attraction and recruiting that we all need to focus on. And so the information comes first through the third-party presentation so that when you get to the three-way call, the person that came to the presentation in the first place has the questions to ask you. If you do this all at one time, it's too much information. The brain can't retain that much information in 1 hour. You're gonna overwhelm the person, so you wanna separate these two calls. The presentation first, give it a little bit of time, and then do a three-way call with your partner. Now, if they're not ready to go at this moment, you're gonna have to set up a follow-up process. The best way to follow up with someone is to get the follow-up conversation in the calendar at the current conversation. Because if you don't, and you leave the conversation open-ended, what happens? We feel like we're chasing, right? And if you push too hard, you're gonna push someone away. But but if you don't push hard enough, they're going to drift away. So we need to go ahead and set that conversation for the next conversation or the appointment while we're in that current one. We go ahead and get in the calendar. So most people do not join right after they've been approached to EXP. It took me over 2 years to join this company. How many of you guys joined the company day one when you were first introduced to Bismol? Okay. Smart. Yes, that's for sure. How many join within 6 months? Okay. What about after 6 months from your first exposure to EXP? Come on, be honest. Right? So most people join later down the road. So if we don't follow up, what happens? Someone else steps into our follow-up position and we see that person join someone else down the road. Has that ever happened to you? Yes. How frustrating is it? Very frustrating. So stay in that dialogue, stay in that conversation. So we're going to follow up with them until they join. And so if they join again, or when they join, what happens down there at the bottom is we plug them back into the mastermind system. So help them onboard, move them to mastermind calls, training skill sets, helping our partners learn what they need to do, teach them how to be an inviter before they're a recruiter, use a third-party presentation system and a three-way call process, and then we're going to get them into a follow-up system. Once they're ready to go, we onboard them, and it goes through this entire process. Now, if you can teach something like this, I want you to understand if this is one pattern, there's other patterns in business. Business is about pattern recognition. So if you can't find something that you can learn today, give to someone that they can learn tomorrow, that they can teach tomorrow, you will not have a business that grows and duplicates without you. So I want you to start thinking how an IKEA set works, or anything that has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-step process. If you're doing something in your business that can't be recreated without you there, it's not duplicatable. It has to be something that everybody can do. It has to be in an ordered process that they can learn it, apply it, and reteach it later. And that's how duplication happens, okay? So I'm gonna leave it with this, guys. Now that you may be thinking a little bit differently about the business, what are you guys gonna do when you go home? Which part of this process, or where are you at in your business? Which skill sets do you need to acquire first? Have you ever attracted an agent? If not, what are you gonna go do to learn how to attract agents? If you've already attracted agents on your first tier, but you're not growing, you have no duplication, meaning you have a large front line, but nobody on your second through seventh tier, you need to learn how to focus on teaching people how to attract agents. That's your skill sets you need to acquire next. Now, if you're starting to get depth into your business where you have growth on your first, second, and third tiers, but you're flatlining through your fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh, it's because you need to develop leaders. So where are you guys at in your business? Each skill set can be learned along the way. You don't have to learn this right away, but you need to see the vision of where you're going. A lot of these leaders talked about visualization. You cannot build something you cannot see. Think about a picture on a wall, the Mona Lisa or something like that. Did it just pop up on the wall? A painting can't just pop up on the wall. It's seen in the mind first. So is a business. Everything is seen first before it comes in the physical world. So I want you guys to set new goals. Think about what I said here. Think about where you need to work on yourself and create a visualization process you can take forward to grow your business. Hopefully I said something that helps, guys. And I'll be around here the rest of the day. So if I can help anyway, come up in the hallway. I'd be glad to meet you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.